Good morning, Grand Rising. I'm never going to say opulent rising. I'm never going to do that. Rich risings, everybody. I'm having a rough morning. Another episode of the oh my God, I'm having a rough morning. Sunflower Shamaness. I am Kamay Nicole. And I thought it was high time that I actually do this video. I should have done it like, I don't know, 3-4 videos back. What is this? Oh my God, I'm having such a rough morning. Okay, so the reason why I've decided to do like this impromptu video is because I have a lot of people who, first of all, they find me on TikTok, which, hey y'all. But a lot of people come to me and they want mentorship and they want to learn from me. And my thing is like, what do you want mentorship for? Right? Some of the people that I have the pleasure of working with, a lot of them really don't have a practice or know what they want to get into, and that's fine. Like, being an eclectic spiritualist is absolutely fine. And if you don't know what an eclectic spiritualist is, and I talked about this I think on my podcast episode, is like you just pick up what resonates with you and you leave the rest. That's totally and completely fine. But when you're specifically saying like, I want a mentor, I think that you should know like what your mentor is into, right? Because I never really outright say what I practice, what I do, whether I'm initiated into any closed practices or anything of that nature. I never say that. So when people come to me and say, I choose you as my mentor, and I know I was led to you for a reason as my mentor, and I'm like, really? Because how? Because I never outright say, outside of I'm in mentorship or shamanism, that I'm into one thing or the other. I keep trying to fix this audio and it's not working, and I think it's just because I'm in an entirely open space, but whatever. So with that being said, I want you all to know that when you are learning from me, first of all, I am an eclectic, or what's considered an eclectic spiritualist. So I pick up what resonates with me and I leave the rest. Will I eventually initiate in a closed practice? Probably. In addition to, me doing shamanism. And if I'm going to initiate into anything, it's going to be in voodoo. But right now, I'm not initiated into anything. My journey has started me out with where I started in my spiritual journey, right? Which means in order for me to properly be on my journey, I had to deconstruct from colonized religion. So I started with Christianity. I started with really, really just deconstructing and decoding and reading the biblical text to really fully understand, because that information can only be understood and it's never to be taken literally. Why? Because the book itself says that it's parables, allegory. There's an entire book of Proverbs. A proverb means like you come to a truth based on common sense of an understanding. So I started there. From there, I ended up in hoodoo. I think hoodoo in the beginning of my journey was what really, really resonated with me the most. And now that I know about my lineage, I fully understand why I was attracted to that, because it's literally in my lineage. Like, I can go find it. It's literally in my lineage. So I do have some hoodoo practices. Initially, from there, I started to feel like this draw to Ifa. And if you go to a lot of, I don't know what it is with the Babalaos. Like, as soon as you say, hey, I'm interested in Ifa, like immediately they want to go to initiation. And that wasn't something that I was very comfortable with when I finally found like my, not my Babalao, but I did find a Babalao. And the one lady that's like would be considered a godmother, she's not a Babalao. She's more like a high priestess. I don't really know. I don't really know. Let's not get too sidetracked with that. But I was only able to go to her for so much, even within my own journey and knowledge, and having like all these messages come to me, because I do have the gift of foresight as a spiritual gift, and then I also have the gift of mediumship as a spiritual gift. So I have a lot of things that I'm able to get so much information from her. Before, it was just like, she even told me like, hey, like, this isn't all about finding your orisha and throwing up a bunch of altars. You have to initiate. And I was too new into my journey to initiate. When I started to formally learn about Ifa, I said, oh, well, this is just another religion. And I'm past the point now of when you mention the word religion, I'll start like to begin to start seizing. But those are what they are. With Ifa, there is a lot of, you have to go to someone for certain, you have to ask for permission to do certain things. And that's not who I am as a person. Again, I am a very independent person. Freedom is my thing. Like, I literally, it resonates with my life path number. When I at the beginning of my journey, I didn't even know what a life path number is. But to know that my life path number is surrounded by its freedom, in its essence, it's number 5, it's freedom, it made so much more sense. So for me to initiate into a practice like Ifa, where I have to go to someone and ask for permission, and when you go to someone, you really have to like sit in front of a babala, in front of a mat. I didn't like that. I didn't like that. And then 2, Ifa is very, very expensive. Like, it's a beautiful religion. It has a lot of amazing and beautiful and wonderful principles. When you start learning about it, you will see that there's a lot of alignment. Again, you'll start seeing that alignment when you get to the true real of the ATRs of what it actually is. And it's very expensive. Like, when you start having to pay for odus and ask for permission to do things, like, I started racking up the money. I'm talking about the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that also didn't resonate with me either, with me being a person who came from Christianity or Christian background, and seeing how the church has manipulated an entire community, entire communities, because it just doesn't happen in Black communities. It's everywhere. But you saw a lot of people within the Black community, and I'm going to speak on that because I'm Black and that's where I grew up in, being taken advantage of by these pastors. So that didn't resonate with me at all. Now, when I found my mambo in voodoo, baby, really got to learning about the truth about voodoo, then, you know, it's not as prim and proper as Ifa. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's complete opposite of everything that we have seen in mainstream media. And how I know that that was something that resonated with me and I would be accepted into voodoo is because as soon as I started to read about it and learn about it, and my mambo, even though she's not that much older than me, she's still an elder. She has so many years, you know, above me in this, and she grew up in it, and it's like sitting at the feet of an elder. I started having some entities come to me that was not coming to me before. So it was just like, okay, yeah, we resonate. Like, you kind of align with this, right? And so again, going back to my previous videos, you have to have certain characteristics to really align with certain practices. And then when you do that, I've noticed in my personal experience, I cannot speak for everybody else, that you start having the Loa show up in your life. You start having prominent figures throughout history that's been associated with voodoo come to you. Like, I've had Marie Laveau pop up, you know, one time, and my mentor just so happens to be a legitimate, can prove on paper descendant of Marie Laveau. So I don't know if that was another factor into why I saw it. And I've only seen her one time. She's only come to me one time in spirit. I don't know why. And I don't question it. I was just grateful for the experience, and I left it as it was, and I just kept learning. So me as a practitioner, I don't think that when you're starting out in your journey, you should have one like you should follow one particular path. You should look at a whole entire picture. So it's looking at and reading and learning about the westernized religions. Then it's reading about Ifa, reading about voodoo. You can read about shamanism. You will start seeing some of the synchronicities with shamanism into, especially the ATRs. Why? Because of slavery. Like I cannot stand this conversation, and the reason why I can't stand this conversation of slavery, because for so long it's been put into our head like that is basically our only history, and it's not our only history. We have other history, but when it comes to getting back to our indigenous practices in the indigenous way, which is what the ancestors and the spirits want us to come back home to our indigenous ways, unfortunately, you have to revisit this topic of conversation of what happened in slavery, because that's how the synchronization of these different religions and practices and stuff happened. It was literally by mishing and moshing a bunch of different people from different regions of the country together, and the connectedness that, you know, that commonality that the ancestors all had was the fact that they were on an oppressed group of people in bondage who were sharing different things and practices and ways for survival. For whether it was a medical remedy, a herbal remedy for healing yourself internally, whether it was connecting to the earth, because another thing that you will see in the ATR practices is that we connect to the earth. Connecting to the earth isn't just something that is exclusive to shamanism. If you're in voodoo, if you're in E5, it's all connecting to the earth, working with the earth, working with the animals, respecting the animals, being mindful of what you put in your body, things of that nature. So along my journey, I also, especially when it came to really breaking down that biblical text, I started to see that there was a lot of ceremony, like Golden Dawn ceremonial magic that's incorporated into that. Now, if you are a person who likes tarot, like for me, tarot has always resonated with me. You start breaking down those images when you're learning, you'll notice that a lot of the images have like some biblical symbolism. It has some biblical symbolism in it. And the reason for this, especially when it comes to the Rider White deck, is the fact that the authors of the Rider White deck were initiated into the Golden Dawn Secret Society group of people, and a lot of the images that they record, and that's why a lot of the images incorporated into the tarot have biblical context. Like I created a whole slide because I was going to teach a class on that to really break that down, and I may post that on the YouTube channel as well, because you can literally go image by image by image, and you can find not only Christian symbols in the tarot, but also Catholicism. So with that being said, when it comes to learning from me in particular, you're going to learn all of it. If you want me as a mentor, if you want to follow my page, remember, like, subscribe, hit the notification button, all that stuff. If you want to learn from me, if you want me to be a mentor, you have to understand, with learning from me, you're going to learn everything. It's going to be a prerequisite that you are open and willing to learn everything, because only when we learn and dissect everything can we really get a big picture of the whole. No one, and I mean no one, across any of the religions has the whole complete answer, is the whole complete way. There are sprinkles of truth in all of it, right? I'm pretty sure a lot of you all who are interested in ATRs do not know that meditation isn't just exclusive to Hinduism. Meditation is talked about in Ifa, and the Orisha are associated with certain chakra points. With chakras, let me pronounce it correctly, chakras are just energy centers within the body, right? You can't open yourself up and find your soul, so you can't open yourself up and pull out a chakra. It's an energy system within the body, and the orisha are associated, certain orisha I should say, because there's thousands of orisha, are associated with certain chakra points within the body. Voodoo also put a heavy emphasis on meditation. Shamanism, heavy emphasis on meditation. Hoodoo, heavy instances on meditation. Even if they don't call it meditation, they'll talk about trance work, depending on who you're learning from. Because again, if you want to work with the spirits, commune with the spirits, you want to tap into your own energy, whatever you're into, you actually have to go into a level of trance, right? And then the level of trance synchronizes with sleeping. In order to fully get into the state of consciousness that you need to be in, whether it's hoodoo, whether it's Ifa, whether it's voodoo, whether it's shamanism, you have to get into that REM state, that REM cycle, which where all the lucid dreams happen, and you get to tap into that subconscious mind. It's all synchronized. So you have to learn the whole. You have to be open to the whole, because no one has the answer. I'm going to repeat that again. No one has the definite answer. There's sprinkles of truth in all of it. And the way that I attacked learning about this and finding my path is understanding that and further seeing the synchron across all of it, across all of it, across all of it, across all of it, across all of it. So that's important to know. There is going to be a lot of reading, a lot of studying, or a lot of becoming familiar with this information. And the reason for that is because of the fact that even as mentors, you have to rely a lot on yourself. We can teach you everything. We can show you how to do certain things in particular, but nothing is going to replace your practical application. And I know that I've said that in another video. There's no way around it. Nobody is going to be able to give you a surefire way to do something. I mean, we can give you a surefire way to do something, but it may work differently for you because your power, your ashe is different from my ashe and my power. Your discipline level is different from my discipline level. Your lineage, your ancestry is different from mine, even though there's all this interconnectedness. It's different. So you still have to learn by trial and error. Nothing is going to replace that. I don't care what mentor you go to. Nothing is going to replace your learning by trial by error, because that's the only true and definite way to learn any and all of this. And another thing too with learning all of it, because there are some people who only want to learn about hoodoo, and that's great, that's fine. But you limit yourself when you only learn about one particular thing. Say, for example, you want to learn how to work with, I don't know, say for instance you want to develop mediumship, right? You think you have a goal, or you have a gift of mediumship, you want to expound on that. There are certain things like you need to do, and you only want to do it like a hoodoo way. But regardless of you being a hoodoo practitioner and you want to do it the hoodoo way, you're not gonna get past them gatekeepers. And the gatekeepers are the Papa Legba's, are the Maman Brigitte, are the Baron Samidis, that and that's associated with voodoo, right? And so you can't box yourself. When you limit yourself, you limit the possibilities, you limit the energies that want to work with you, you limit so many things when you got horse blinders on, you know. And then another thing that I want to tell you about your journey too, especially if you're really, really new to this, or a lot newer to this than I am, because I've been this like 5, 6, 7, 8 years now. what you think that is meant for you, because this audio is terrible, what you think is meant for you may not be meant for you. You may feel drawn to voodoo, Ifa, Lukeme, Santeria, hoodoo, shamanism. It may not be your path. So, and I know that I've said that before, but I just want to reiterate that again for the newcomers coming in, and just for those who've been following me for a minute. That may not be your path, okay? And you may have to grieve that a little bit. You may have to grieve that a little bit. You don't want to force something that's not in your path. You know, you may have a specific mission to do certain things, and that may be through a particular path. So now we have to figure out what the path is. How does that resonate in your life? How has it shown up in your life? And what characteristics do you have to work on to align fully with that path, right? What are your habits? What are your hobbies? Who are you around? What have you been experiencing? Right? We have to look at all of this, all of the ATRs and hoodoo and shamanism, which people don't like. It's so disgusting the way these beautiful forms of art, I guess if I want to put it that way, beautiful forms of spirituality have been reduced to superficial monetary things, because all of them at the core, again including hoodoo, relies on being well and you focusing on yourself, the whole person, because you are the power, you are the lock and key. None of it moves unless you do what you need to do. I mean, it can move, but then you get like these weird results that could really kind of just wreak some havoc in your life. It's about being well. It's about being whole. It's about getting rid of all of the things that don't serve you. So again, I know I've said this in previous videos. We're all going to learn really big lessons on attachment. I've learned so many lessons on attachment. It's crazy. You're going to be forced to handle that and deal with that if you want to truly walk this path and be fully aligned. So I really just wanted to kind of get that out there. I know I've said it, sprinkled it in a couple of different videos, mostly on my podcast, not mostly like, you know, in the YouTube videos, whatever, but I've sprinkled it here and there, and I just want to compile that into one big video, because I really want people to understand that if you want me as a mentor, you have to learn all of it. You're going to learn all of it. And if that's not something that resonates with you, then this is not for you. I'm not for you. There's tons of spiritualists out there. There's tons of mentors out there that you can find. Not going to say that they're going to teach you things the correct way. I don't know. And I don't can't speak for anybody else but myself, because there are a lot of frauds out there. And then there are a lot of people who they're more left-hand path than right-hand path, and they're left-hand path in the wrong way. Because there's still a way that you can be a left-hand path in a right way, in a good way, in a wholesome way, right? So, and if you don't know what left-hand path is a little darker side. Right-hand path is a little of the benevolent side, okay? That's exactly what they are. The dark side. Left people, when people want to go get their get back, they look a little bit to the left-hand side. But there's a right way to do the left-hand side work. It's not all this evil and oogity boogity and low vibrational people who are darker nature, people who aren't looking at the wholeness and the wellness of it, tend to do the wrong things of the left-hand path. It's the right way to do everything, and it's always in the good of all and the harm of none, okay? Because you do want to be mindful of the energy that you put out there, because if it doesn't hit you, it can hit someone you love. If it doesn't handle what needs to be handled, it doesn't ricochet and come back like a boomerang in this lifetime, well, there's many other lifetimes for you and your people. So we want to be mindful, and people just want to do things the wrong way, which just irritates the shit out of me, because of the fact that I know and I fully understand how beautiful all of this is. But I don't want to draw this out too much. I just want to come in and say that the Orisha video is still coming up next. Like, follow, subscribe, share, all the things. And until next time, be well, be well.